So now that we've built the basic TGV line for our TGV line A, which is going to run from City 1 to City 2 to City 3. City 1 and City 3 being the terminals at the end of the line. It's approximately 60 kilometers in length from City 1 to City 3. We're just going to go now and refine it, and I want this line to be a proper TGV line, so I want it to be fast. And as you may have noticed in the last video, this line has some very sharp corners, and there are some places where the train is going to reduce in speed quite significantly. And they're going to run another 2 layers of regional passenger trains and sort of local passenger trains that can do the slow speeds. We really want the TGV lines to be fast, so I'm going to refine the route before we go any further. This is what this video is about, and there's a couple of places that we need to fix. This first corner, that's City 1, so this first corner as we get around these mountains, we took this a bit sharply, so we're sort of down half speed at this point, and this is fine, but for some reason this bridge is at 180, so we need to replace the bridge. This bridge is good. This is all fine because we're doing very, very slow, gentle curves. Then this corner again is a little too tight. We need to go a lot more gradually, or we need to find another way, a smoother way to connect up to this point. So I think, as I noted earlier, I'm quite willing to rip everything up again, or rip half of it up at least, so that we can get the line perfect and doing what we need it to do. So there's those couple of situations. This is all fine, this is all 320. I think this is probably a little tight. Yeah, this is getting quite tight, so we need to find a way to smooth this curve right off. And some of these curves are not perfect, they're a little tight. For some reason these bridges as well are actually quite slow. So it looks like it kind of wasted our time building this route, but I wouldn't say so, because it's all non-destructive. It's not costing us anything. The whole point of this is to try things and see what works, refine it, improve it, and that's fine. This is all part of the fun. This is why we're doing it. And this corner obviously is way too tight. The trains are going to really slow down at this point, so I'm just using the track speed limits layer to which is number 4 on the keypad, just to see what these speeds are, and generally it's still pretty good. These sort of smooth curves, the trains are going to run really fast. I think all the way along here this is all good because it's basically straight with very narrow curves. I think probably this last corner, yeah, this last corner is a little tight. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to City 1, all the way back to the start, and we're going to try and fix this corner. So we'll come off the track speed limit, we'll use our high-speed train, and we're going to have to take it, I think, somewhere up around by here. See, even that is too tight. Actually need to start coming off around here. Still a little slow. So we need to get in this such a wide radius. You can see the sort of radii that you can do when it starts to slow down. So actually around here. So 14.5 degree radius means we can go full speed. So I'm just going to drop that down. I'm going to take this and this is good because you can see it's 320 all the way. and we will see if we can bank this up. It's a little high to bank it, so we're just going to reduce with the N key, actually dip down so that we don't gain too much height. So we'll keep this as an embankment, and we will have to accept that we have a tunnel here. And you might start thinking, well, this is a little realistic, this is actually what they're going to do. Well, we're still going to have a railway line out here because we still have these other two layers of the regional passenger trains and the local passenger trains. I really want the TGVs to go full speed, so this is just what it's going to take on this map. And if you think into Switzerland, places like the Gotthard Tunnel, those sort of places, we have huge tunnels in the Alps because we don't crawl around every little mountain pass and valley to get the major trains through. So I'm going to go ahead and build that. And I'm actually going to demolish the slower curve. If this comes and becomes one of the slower lines later on, then we'll build that independently again. It's fine, we don't need to worry about redoing it. Just want to focus on the TGV at the moment. So we'll just delete these. I think we can. Yeah, we can't quite parallel that. I think it's this one. Perfect. So doing the parallel manual here, we will get back into the business of using the parallel track tool. But for now, using the old school tools. You can see why you don't want to do this everywhere all the time. Obviously joining this up is going to be a problem, and this bridge needs to come out anyway because it's too slow, so we're going to delete the bridge as well. Seems a shame, but we're in the right there. Let's try this again. Yeah, okay. So it was deleting it. I think I have too many bridge mods installed, as it's really taking its time. I'll come back when it's done. So let's see what sort of speeds we get connecting these tracks up. Okay, so we have quite a reduction in speed there. We'll keep it 320. So I'm kind of going to align it this way. Let's double check with the bridge speeds that we are actually going to get 320 on this bridge. No, it's interesting. This bridge will only do 180. So let's use this suspension bridge style. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. It's going to have to start bridging at this point. So it's nice and fast. So bridges are definitely buggy. This is great. Proper high speed. And then let's join it back up. So over here, we're good for up until about this point. So we just need to basically rebuild this bridge. Let's take it to there. Probably just going to carry on this bridge all the way over. $320 all the way. Perfect. We might come back and refine whether we embank this, but I think it's going to be too tall. I think this is just what we're going to have. And again, at any point later on, we can come back and we can tweak it to the design as we see fit, as long as we keep the principle that this is going to be high speed. And where's the other track? There's already another track. I've missed something. Well, that's a bit dodgy, isn't it? I don't like the graphics there. This bridge doesn't want to be 2 tracks. That's interesting. Yeah. Wow. We're going to have to get rid of that because I definitely want to be able to see 2 tracks on that bridge. That's not great, is it? That's awful. Okay, so we're going to delete the whole bridge. You might call this picky, but this is where we are. And we definitely need a bridge that's going to work with double track. That's just an absolute minimum. So let's try that again. Right. So the other suspension option. $320. But will it double track? It will. Perfect. So this is what we will use. Okay. Perfect. That's a huge viaduct. Right, now this is all good up to this point. So this has all got to come out. And we need to decide whether we do actually cross over here or we loop around. So you do need to zoom in to see it. So this is all a little bit slow at that end. So let's see what we can achieve. Just joining these two. Still a little slow, isn't it? It's just too tight. Okay. What about if we have a track at this point? Now I'm drawing little straight sections because then you can see what the curves between them work out as. Or rather, we can draw the curve to achieve the minimum. Let's get a nice fast bridge. Look, these bridges. Oh, that's a bit. I don't really like the amount of columns you get on that one. Yeah, I think we bit this one before. This is a good one. So this we know definitely works. And we're trying to get over here. So in fact, we're in a tunnel anyway. This is good. It's just that corner. I'm going to go ahead and build that, and we will refine the corner at the other end. Problem with these tunnels, quite often get a collision as it tries to cross itself over in the tunnel. And we know that tunnels don't like the parallel tracks. So that is gone. This seems even more and more like the last video was a complete waste of time. But I slept on it, I reflected on it. I really want to get the biggest performance out of my TGVs, and it's no expense spared, I'm afraid. Bridge and tunnel terms. We can save money on the regional lines. Really want to see these trains flying through these valleys. And that bridge isn't going to work, is it? I think by default, yeah, by default it's no bridge at all. So we'll match the same bridge that we just picked. Is it that one? It's not quite right. Which one was it? No, these were the big columns. So many bridges. You know what? I have no idea. It can be different. It's fine. It was a different contract, different construction contract for the next one. Absolutely fine. So we're 320 and yeah, it's this junction here, so we need to delete. I'd say it's about here. So let's rebuild. let's go from this point. This is all good. I'm not quite sure where I'm getting a 301 from. Let's try this the other way. Alright, so we're definitely out of the tunnel. Perfect, 320 all the way. What's that like as a cut-in? Yeah, too steep, so it is a tunnel. Perfect. So this continues up until C2, and it's okay if it slows down a little around this area, because you either arrive at the station or just depart from the station. All the TGVs are stopping on this line at this station, so I'm not really too bothered about going and sorting out the 304s or the 296s. What I'm principally concerned about is the next bend. So it's actually incredibly from this point. That was a little slow. Had some 250s at that point, so I think we're going to dig in significantly into the hill on the left. So let's start from this point, see what we get to. Okay, so that's sort of the radius of curve that we're looking at. Okay, to maintain 320, I'll have a nice viaduct and then a nice tunnel. It's much smoother than we had it previously. And then we can achieve this. I want to be, yeah, that's a good height. So a 320, 320, that's really good. And we're going to use, let's use a different bridge. Let's see what other steel bridges we can use. Oh, the funky yellow one. It's a bit too funky. That doesn't look right, is it? It's too tall for that type of bridge. Yeah. Yeah, it's really going to have to be the suspension. Cable stayed. Because that looks about right. Okay, let's build the parallel track for these. Okay, and then we had some issues on this line, didn't we? Yeah, we're basically curving too much. Yeah, so I'm going to rebuild this. I'm not even sorry. I'm sorry for anyone watching. I'm going to have to do this again. And we're definitely taking out that sharp bend. We'll take it back to there. So I think I should have paid more attention the first time I was doing this. I was more concerned than just sort of establishing what the sort of route could be. And you could do both together if you were clever. So 320. Excellent. I'm going to change the bridge at this point. We're going to go for something like, not these because these are slow. Full speed, green. So not as expensive, not as fancy. Not suspension there either. I think this can be embankment. Just about. We'll smooth that out. We'll smooth these out. There we go. That's looking better. And yeah, it's just going to have to go where it needs to go. Lots of tunnels. And some bridges where it pops out. Italian high-speed bridge. Yeah, let's have some of that. Good. That's nice. Nice bit of concrete. So we're going to go through this hill again, and we are going to have to start turning pretty soon. So let's take that to an embankment. This is a tunnel. These tunnels look really good. And let's see. So that's our minimum curve again. So this might not be enough. Cement bridge. Let's have a bit of that. So we're tunneling. Gonna be very as tight as we can make it there. Let's have a bit more cement bridge. There's my parallel tracks. Here we go. Super high speed all the way through the mountain. Again, can't parallel track all the way through the tunnel. Now we're going to try and go. Whoa, never going to quite make that. I think we'll cross over the river, actually. I think that's just what we've got to do. It's so tight. Yeah, so 320. Oh, maybe we can just about make it. Yeah, I love these cute little things you get in the Alps. Pop out of a tunnel, straight back into one again. So let's see what we can do here. Ooh. Yeah, you know what? We might just make this. We might just make it. But I think we actually do need to start coming down. I'm not quite sure. If I had the right set in there. Let's try that again. Yeah, it is going down. It's going to be quite a long descent. Yeah, I don't think we're going to make it. I think we're going to end up... Yeah, and whilst I am trying to be realistic, I realise I'm breaking some rules already, but one rule I won't do is to bring a bridge all the way along the riverbank. We are just going to go over, because even that just looks silly. So this is quite a bridge. Too much slope. Can't be too much slope because we've just built the other side. There we go. God, this draw distance though. We need to sort this out. Alright, so we're going to remove this and we're going to, at the same time, we're going to avoid the need for such a sharp end here. Let's take it back to this point. Where's our huge bridge? Okay. So what we'll do, take it as far over as we can so we could give ourselves enough spring to be able to come over the river. So I think even something like that, deep as we can into the hill there. Right. Look at something. Like that. That's as shallow as we can make it. Let's do it. We can come back and refine some of these bridges later. At least we know the sort of radii and the alignments that we're going to need. Yeah, to be honest, we're going to delete the whole damn thing. Okay. So this sort of speed curve is fine because we're coming up to the terminal station. On the ground. And we can see where the station was. So I have a nice bit of straight track. And then we will build the station at the end. So we're going to go for to begin with, just what we had, 320, 2 tracks, high speed. We'll just pop that in. Okay, so now we have, apart from this initial curve and the bend around C2, because we're stopping here anyway, this is fully high speed. Completely, fully 320 all the way along. And this is what we want to simulate our TGV lines. This is what we really want. We don't want to be compromising. And I give myself a slap on the wrist for ever considering it. This is what we should have done the first time, but it's absolutely fine. It shows that there's no loss. No loss has been had. We'll restore everything back to how it should be, except I haven't connected all the track up. What did I miss? Oh, I actually missed this connection. Well, hopefully this should be straightforward enough. $320, perfect. Embankment. You know what? I'm going to try and get that to work with the landscaping. We're just going to check on that 240 when we get back down there now. Can't be any compromise. So let's just double check what these speeds are saying. 241. See, that's very odd. I don't think that's right. I think it's just these little bits of track. So let's build that again. You really have to double check and make sure. See, 301. Why are we dropping 20 there? 207. Doesn't make any sense, does it? It's just where it's joining up. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to completely rebuild this bit of track. It might be to do with the fact it doesn't like what's going on with the landscape. $320. 320, 306 again. Are we just going to chase the problem all the way down the track here? God, talk about being anal retentive, but this is really irritating. 320. There you go. Gosh. 320. Perfect. And this is all still 320. Right, I didn't miss anything. Okay. Great. That's fine. The station can be 270. Right, so next we are going to build the depots and we are going to get the timetable working for our first TGV line.